What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, I want to speak on this dilemma that the I believe that the NBA have when it comes to Luka Doncic and LeBron James. Right. On the one hand, you have a old, aging veteran, LeBron James, right, and LeBron is on his way out, and so the league is trying to get LeBron James to like almost like pass the baton on to Luca, you know. But the thing is, like Luca is not really taking he's not really taking things as serious, and he's not representing the league the way the league want him to represent him. And I believe that's a big part of the reason why Luca was traded from the Dallas Mavericks to the Los Angeles Lakers is just to almost to like give Luca like a wake up call, just to let him know that we want you to take this thing serious and we want you to be the face of the league. But I think they kind of getting the it's they're kind of getting a point or getting the notion that Luca is not really he's not suitable for that job. And by that I mean they sent Luca to the Lakers, which if Luca have any kind of success in Los Angeles, he's going to be compared with Magic Johnson because he played that guard position. And so if Luca don't measure up to Magic Johnson's or get close to measuring up to Magic Johnson's, his career, it's going to be a flop for them. And so that's why I think that it was a bad idea for the NBA to allow that trade to go through because Luca, you put him in a position whereas though if this don't go through, this will make the NBA look bad too. It also expose the NBA because it'll let people know that basically they're trying to promote and push these European ball players on the league like they are Magic Johnson or they are like a Larry Bird when their level of play is not like Larry Bird or Magic Johnson. You know, they they just can't play like those guys, and so the European countries or any foreign country like they are not sending those type of basketball players to to the NBA. They don't produce those type of basketball players. The NBA really had to water down the league, in order to make room for foreign born basketball players because it's just they would not have been able to. Now they could compete. Don't get me wrong. I think that they can compete. That's because they can shoot and they can really play. They can. But the style of basketball that we play over here and the athleticism and the quickness and stuff like that, they can't deal with that. I think they can't deal with that. And that's not saying it like in a bad way. That's just like like every year. For instance, every year, like in Boston, they have like that Boston Marathon, and most of the times, that Boston Marathon, somebody from Kenya, those Kenyans, they'll run that Boston Marathon and they win that race, right? That's because that's what they're good at. The Kenyans are good at that long distance running. That's something that they are inherently good at. And the same thing with like American born basketball players, like our style of basketball play. We're much more physical. We got physical. We got guys who are physical. We got guys who are athletic. We got guys who are fast. Then you have guys who can play at all three levels. Guys who can shoot, who can play with their back to the basket. Guys who got mid range games. And in my honest opinion, I have yet to see a foreign born basketball player who could play at all three levels. Whereas though you can like who could play at all three levels like that. Whereas though if anybody you put on him, there's a mismatch. If you put somebody big on him, he's gonna go around him. Put somebody small on him, he's gonna post up. If you put somebody his same size, he's gonna move around to the open spot, or he's gonna get to his spot on the floor and he's gonna score. And so that's what American basketball players like in the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s. That's what they did. That's all about playing basketball. You play all over the court. And these guys, they shoot the three and they can dunk, but they don't play all over the court. And that's just on when they got the ball. That's on the offensive side of it. And on the defensive side of it, you'll find like a lot of them like are at a disadvantage because they don't have that they don't have the speed to keep up. And so now the NBA is at it's in a tough spot because LeBron James is phasing out. You want to hand the baton over to Luka Doncic, but Luka is not, in my opinion, he's not up for the task. He's just not up for the task. And even though the NBA now is watered down, you got rid of the center, you got rid of the power forward. All you have out there are small forwards and basically two guards. It's still, he's still Luka Doncic still don't have what it takes to be the face of the NBA. And that's not just Luka Doncic, but it's a lot of most foreign born basketball players just don't have what it takes, and so they're not producing the same type of basketball players in those other countries that we produced over here. And we're like, as a sports fan, we're just used to seeing like a certain level of competition, a certain level of play. Like you like we're used to seeing you get challenged at every level on the court. That's what NBA basketball used to be all about. Like if you're a guard and you just so happen to beat your man, now you got to be able to score over like a power forward. Not just, you got to be able to score over long and athletic dudes. So if you're like a 6'1", a 6'2" guard, you beat your man, and you trying to go to the basket, you got to be able to score over those big guys. Or if you 6'2", you have 6'2" guards like Sam Cassell, for instance. Sam Cassell could play with his back to the basket. At 6'2", Sam Cassell could play with his back to the basket. Not just Sam Cassell, but who's the other guy? Mark Jackson, 6'5", could play with his back to the basket. So not only Mark Jackson, could Mark Jackson be a facilitator and run the offense, but Mark Jackson, if you put a small guard on Mark Jackson, he play with his back to the basket. He could hit the mid range, he could hit the floater, and he could run your offense. That European basketball players, you don't have a European Mark Jackson that you could send over here that's going to be able to play like Mark Jackson. They just don't have it. And so they had to switch the league up, water the league down. And now you have American fans who are not happy because we're used to seeing a certain level of basketball play over here. So that's my take on it. The NBA, I'm just curious to see what is the NBA going to do, because what's going to be their next move? How they going to get fans and people interested? How they going to make the game more competitive? And like, what is going to be their next move? Because that experiment, they want to be able to make money in those overseas markets, and they want to be able to sell their merch, but also they want to be able to put a product out on the court that people, um, that people going to enjoy. And so far they're not able to do both. Put a product out there that people can enjoy, and please, like, the fans, the fans over here, and the NBA fans, and then the fans who are from those foreign countries. So that's my take on it. With that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. Also leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video. Peace.